morning. It's a day 147 on my hike from Mexico to Canada on the Pacific Crest Trail. It is 6:20 a.m., so I'm up and moving. My tent was soaked with condensation this morning. I used my microfiber towel and my bandana to wipe it all up, and then within minutes it was just all wet again. I don't know, I don't think it rained last night, but the ground was all wet. I guess it's just dew cover, but like the ground was quite wet. Even just looking now, the whole ground's wet. So I don't know what the deal is, but I've got another really intense day ahead of me. But I'm glad I'm actually up early to give myself a little more time now in the day. I didn't sleep too great. I was waking up almost every hour, and I did not hear rain, so I don't know where all the moisture came from, but I will see y'all down the line when there's more light. Okay, just accept that we're dealing with shit and poop, and then the story is really cool. So I didn't take my morning poop. It was wet and gross, and I just want to get out of camp and get moving. And so now I'm doing the switchbacks, and I had to go. So I come out here, and I see a good spot for it. There's a little flat area, and I take my trowel, and the ground looked just like this. It's, there's pine cones, pine needles, just like this. And I take my trowel and I dig, and I start digging a hole. I'm like, wow, that is the easiest hole I've ever dug. And it comes right up. And then as I'm undigging it, I just a wad of goop comes out, like hardened goop, which I was like pretty sure is somebody else's shit. And sure enough, it was very hard to tell. I ended up going in the same spot, but I'm telling you this because that is truly got to be 1 in a billion. It was unmarked, so they either didn't mark it like they're supposed to, or over time, the wind and stuff just knocked their stick away that they marked it with, because the ground did look no different. You would never be able to tell. And then to test it, took my trowel and went like a foot in every other direction, and the ground was very hard. So I was like, that was the easiest cat hole I've ever dug. Literally, got to be 1 in a billion. I mean, the odds of that are crazy small. So I've still got 50 miles to go to get to High Point / Stehekin. And one of my 2 power banks is already used up, and the other's halfway used, at least according to the very detailed 4 lights you get, each representing allegedly a quarter of the total power. So I no longer have my luxury electronics. So like my Garmin watch, I do not, it's dead. I'm not charging it because I got to save the power for my phone. And my Garmin InReach the battery seems to drain a lot quicker than it did when I first started. So that takes charge sometimes. And my AirPods really suck. I won't be able to listen to much music. They're charged somewhat right now, but I don't think I'll be able to charge them much more because I really got to save what's left I have all day today, probably all day tomorrow, and then, a quarter or half of it the next day. Because I don't think I'm getting 50 miles done in 2 days here. So that sucks. Oh yeah, I kind of forgot that I'm in the middle of a section with a bunch of crappy blowdowns. So like, here's just that. I'm on the trail. That's what people have been going down. This is what I'm talking about, where it's just like, I've done a ton of this over the trail over time, but the more incidents of it, just the higher chance of getting hurt. It'll be so nice to see my dad. Really looking forward to that. I'm going to see if he'll be able to meet me. He was planning just to surprise me and meet me at Rainy Pass, which is like the last pass before the border that you can like drive to. There's also Hearts Pass, so it's like a lot dicier. But I'm going to see if he'll meet me at High Point or High Bridge, which is how you get to Stehekin, and then give me a ride into Stehekin to get my package, so that way I don't have to take the shuttle. That would be nice. But either way, there's a nice little added comfort knowing I have one of the people closest to me kind of in the area with a car. It's nice to know, but very much just looking forward to seeing him. I think he gets into the area tomorrow. He's flying into Seattle. He's flying, I know, I think into Seattle now. It's hard to communicate back and forth with the Garmin. Truly, what's keeping me moving and motivated right now is just knowing the end is in sight. Like, just knowing what lies ahead for today. I'm going down this valley. In a few miles, we'll be at Milk Creek. I'm getting car washed right now. Ugh. And then I've got like a 3,000 foot climb up with no water. Like, pretty steep. I just don't want to do it. But what's keeping me going is knowing every mile I do is closer to being done in the end. I am very worried about the rain projected next week, though. One day at a time. So I mentioned I have 50 miles to get to High Bridge, Stehekin. I have 130 miles left to get to the Canadian border, as of like right now. Oh. Just went through a patch that was just totally overgrown. So I got like my sticks in front of me like this to try and protect my eyes from the branches snapping back. I might have to put on my sunglasses if it continues like that. But I'm clearing out so many damn spider webs for everybody behind me today. Once again, it's just like, it's one of the worst things. It's such a small thing. I know it sounds insignificant, but when you're tired or hurting or whatever, and then you walk and you just get this feeling of something on your face, but you can't really clear it out. It's so small and yeah, not fun. Some lovely terrain today. I've been going over around a bunch of blowdowns, but sometimes this is no blowdown here, but sometimes they have mud underneath it just like this. I just haven't filmed it obviously for safety, but yeah. Definitely have a mix of frustration and gratitude because with my injuries, because my plantar fasciitis is coming back today. It just freaking sucks. My left ankle popping, clicking things drive me insane. Because truly, it's altering how I walk. And it's been almost like a week and a half now, for the most part. But it doesn't hurt much. But it's just got so much like wear and tear and whatever. Like this tendon or whatever rolling over the ankle bone that like it starts to be annoying. But like then on the other hand, like that, my left foot, like this with stress fracture I had, still doesn't feel 100%, but it's like so minor. But at the same time, every time I have a stretch where I'm stepping on a bunch of rocks and hitting it at certain angles, it starts to kind of flare up a bit. I've walked into more spider webs once again this morning than I can possibly count. It sucks also. But I'm grateful. I was just thinking because I feel that little in my left foot right now, just a tiny bit, and it's scary because it could get worse. But I'm very grateful how that hasn't gotten much worse than, because it was flirting with it on and off for the last month. So definitely grateful I'm still here and still walking, and definitely frustrated that I can't just walk in comfort. Tell you really haven't lived until you've gone through an overgrown trail where you're getting car washed on both sides and walking into spider webs enough to drive you freaking mad, like Chinese torture. Speaking of, I can see one right here, right above my tip, just dangling there. So freaking annoying. Well, I'm now a little cold because I'm damp, my entire body. Or I shouldn't say my entire body, my arms and my legs from getting car washed. Got spider webs all over my face. I can't clear. I go like this. Still feel them. Just may not sound like a lot, but after 147 days of just exhausting activities, what I just walked through was sucky. If I didn't know I had 130 miles left, I don't know. But somehow I've been in these situations the whole time and I've pushed through, so maybe I do. But like, this is not fun. Alright, I've reached Milk Creek. I carried water for the last 3.5 miles from where I woke up because I did not want to take this water to filter because it's a little silty, but honestly it looks fine to me, so maybe that was a dumb decision, but I carried the water weight. So now I've got, I think like, I'll check exactly, but I don't know, it's somewhere like 2,700 feet up. Let me check. 2,700 foot climb over the next 4.9 miles. That'll be fun. I have a liter of water and a liter and a quarter of water that I've been carrying since I woke up. This might be my favorite sign of the whole trail, so I'm walking straight. I'm still going down a little bit to Milk Creek before I start the crazy climb. I see this on the ground, and if you zoom in closely, someone has handwritten PCT on it, which in fact, this is now the way I need to go for the PCT. Man, my right calf, I actually think it might be my soleus, is not good. Like it feels like I just did a 300-pound calf raise, 40 reps. And I've only gone up a quarter of a mile. It's not good. This is the first time, just between that and my stress fracture flirting with me, my ankle popping, my shins are feeling weird. It's the first time since Ashland I'm actually having concerns about my body holding up. I'm so close to finishing. Here's just an example of where the trail is just degraded. Literally scaling a ledge. Nice contrail to ruin an otherwise very picturesque valley. Man, all of a sudden, the last few days, and now, especially now, a lot of my injuries from this whole trail are just all present and flaring up, but minor, like 2 or 3 out of 10 on the pain scale, but present, but not debilitating. It's like they're all coming together for the grand finale to give one last effort to crush my ability to achieve my goal. Or they're just coming together to say, remember us? But it's kind of crazy. Like every step I take, something's pain receptors are flaring up in my shins, in my plantar fasciitis, my ankle, my knee. Oh, my stress fracture, where it was at least, maybe it is still minorly fractured, I don't know. I couldn't remember all of them, so I had to take a few steps, and then it was very easy to remember. Unreal. Beautiful valley. Just took a picture of that. I feel like right now, the final stages here, the PCT, is like that teacher you have in school, where it's like the week before summer break, and most teachers, there's no more tests, there's no more homework. Maybe even the last 2 days you put on like a movie. But there's that one teacher where you're like studying and doing homework and taking exams, grinding all the way up to the very end, the very last day. That's what the PCT feels like right now. I need 2 hands for this. Well, I've identified at this point when what was, I believe, a stress fracture, the same area, now starts flaring up. It's when I'm not walking flat and normal. It's like when I'm walking on a ton of rocks, or like right now, having to do all these acrobatic circus moves to get around blowdowns and degrading trail and mud piles and all that stuff. Landing on a certain angle, pushing off, that's definitely what aggravates it. I'm a little worried. This is not a section you want to be in if you're not in healthy, good shape. If I'm a gambling man, which I am at times, I would say with strong confidence, someone's been up here already today, because I haven't walked into spiderweb since I began this ascent. So I didn't see many campsites by Milk Creek. That's part of why I didn't push there last night. One, the water is very silty. Probably not the best to drink and can clog your filter. 2, there are no listed campsites. I did read comments about a few around, so my guess is somebody found camp there last night. And I did see actually a headlamp go past me as I was setting up camp last night. I know I didn't close out yesterday's videos. I just kind of forgot, and there was another person camped close to where I was, so I didn't want to be too loud. But as I was setting up camp, I saw a headlamp go past the creek I camped by, so I highly doubt they would have gone all the way up this last night at that time, because it was still like 3.5 miles from where I camped to get to the valley and actually where Milk Creek is before you start ascending. So most likely that person went up this morning, cleared a path for me. Takes one really irritating nuisance away. I've been carrying this chocolate peanut butter Quest bar around for probably 2 weeks at least, a couple of resupplies. For some reason, sometimes this happens, just one item or 2 items get rolled over from resupply to resupply. And I've had it not just in my kit, my pack, but in my snack pouch many of these days. I just had no desire to eat it. And today I finally did, and it's really hitting the spot. It's just funny how that kind of works. That little piece of wood, part of a sign that somebody took a Sharpie and wrote PCT on that was on the ground, showed a little bit ago. That's fairly representative of how this entire section has been maintained. I smell smoke. You can kind of, I think, see it out there too. No clue where it's coming from. I know there's a few fires around, I thought they were more ways away at this point. Oh yeah, wow, you can really see the smoke up here now. I've got like 2.7 miles to go on this climb. So I'm a little under halfway. Just decided to sit on this rock at the end point of a switchback to take a little rest. It hasn't been terrible so far. The terrain sucks at times, like trail degradation and stuff, but I mean, it's challenging. You see I'm sweating, I presume, but it's not been that bad relatively so far. I don't want to prematurely say that because I'm only about halfway, but like yesterday, I remember describing a hike as brutal. I think that was only like 1,000-foot climb at that point, but it was so steep at times. So say it was like 1,000-foot climb over 2 miles, but maybe 1 mile was like 700 feet and the other was 300. Whereas this is 2,700 feet climb over 4.9 miles. But so far it's been pretty gradual, except for gradual makes it sound too easy. Just, there's not extremes where it's like really steep and really flat. It's just kind of a slog, but I'm in a good enough condition where that's manageable. It's those really steep stretches that can make something super tough and challenging. Whew. It's been such a nice relief not walking into spider webs anymore. So thank you to what poor sap was out here first. Oh, my dad just landed in Seattle, so that's exciting. Oh, sorry. It'll be really nice to see him. All right, I'm gonna try to grind out these last few. I got like just 2.7, I think, miles to get to mostly the top of this climb. A lot of things are hurting, but only like a little bit, which is weird. It's just weird. But I'll take it versus something more extreme, I think. I've noticed my left ankle is most unstable when it's on the outside, right? I think typically when the trail is on the outside of that direction, meaning the left foot is on the cliff's edge, it's going to be slanted down that way a little bit. And I believe, per Blaze, the renowned physical therapist on trail, who's done the trail and knows a lot about the trail, I believe she said that's the way the trail is biased, like the majority of the trail, which might make sense why. I have to talk to my also renowned PT good friend Kyle about this, but after the trail at this point. But I don't know what runs over the ankle, but if it's the IT band or whatever, I'm feeling roll over the bone. But like it stopped now as my right foot's on the cliff edge, but it was doing it the whole way on the other side of that other switchback. So I think maybe it's just repetition, overuse of so much on this trail that something's just wearing out, because it's not been, you know, when you're angled a little bit that way over and over and over, sure, it starts to cause problems. I do find all this moss kind of cozy. Reminds me of coastal Georgia and South Carolina with Spanish moss hanging everywhere, which I don't think has anything to do with Spain, but that's what it's called, aside from the people that named it, presumably. But it's a nice, I mean, I pointed this out once before, that I like the moss hanging on the trees. Like, what is going on here? All right, so I've already made this mistake once. I didn't look up. So this is an example where I noticed the side trail. I didn't notice the side trail on the last one, that's why. And I went over this, and then I was kind of in a bind. So the side trail is here to avoid when you get around the switchback, climbing over that, which really doesn't look too bad. I think I'm just gonna go the normal route. Avoid contributing to trail degradation. I do that once in a while. Like in this instance, I don't really think that cutting the switchback there was needed for these blowdowns. Like this right here, what I'm doing now is not bad at all. All right. A lot of smoke blowing in. I feel really weak, like my blood sugar is low. I've had this happen twice, I think, before on the trail. I can't really identify the factors that cause it. I just had my third or fourth snack of the day. Drink some water. Hopefully that'll help. Just a weird feeling. Look at just the eclecticness of all this stuff on here. Hatch drying out, fleece because I was cold earlier and didn't want to take my tent, which needs to dry out, all out just to put my fleece away. And then my bandana, microfiber towel that I used to try to dry off the inside of my tent today, there's totally soaked. And my sleep pad. I'm gonna sit, I flip this over because I'm gonna sit on it like right about where the hat is right now to put in this extra liter of water and then push through to the end of this climb. Sorry, it's an extra quarter liter. Then I'm gonna have to refilter because I don't have another storage besides the 1 liter that actually works too well. So I have holes in the other one that I still use for gravity filtering. So I had to put the extra liter, even though it was filtered water already, back into the dirty bottle I have. So I'm gonna refilter just to be safe. So 130 miles, been running the math, planning it out. I've got about a week left to go, maybe a little less. There's a lot of factors at play still here at the end, especially weather that could slow it down. Have to do a resupply and stehekin. Fortunately, my dad won't be able to help me. He would. He does so much to help and just in general my whole life, and my mom. But you can't actually get cars apparently to stehekin. I gotta fact check that, but he's good at all that stuff. So if he's saying that, I trust it. So because he wanted to see if he could go meet me there. But anyways, I'm gonna have to head into stehekin and catch a bus, which I believe they must have gotten in there somehow, but it's probably hard to get. I know there's like a lake around there too or something, but anyways, I'll do that. That's probably eat up half a day, upload some videos. So I have like basically at least a Nero still to go. Weather and really challenging terrain. But think about it today, 130 miles, move the decimal over. So that's 13 miles a day of 10 days. So double the mileage, cut the days in half. That's 26 miles a day is 5 days. Normally, or I don't know if there's a normal, but for the last month and a half or so, that would be very doable. But given this terrain and all the other factors that I laid out yesterday, I think that might be a little aggressive. So that's why I'm thinking like, all right, somewhere probably 6 to 7 days. Maybe I end up doing it a little on the earlier end, but that's really helpful psychologically. At the same time, a week more of this just feels kind of like an eternity in a vacuum, or absolutely, I should say, but relatively, it's kind of a drop in the bucket. Day 147 right now. Towards the top of that climb is definitely a slog and tough, but it was not as hard as the elevation per mile made it sound, which is interesting because if you run the math though with the example I gave earlier when I was sitting on that rock, it's basically 500 feet a mile in both examples. However, this one was just, like I said, much more consistent. And actually a big part of it was the trail. It's been a really rough section. So one of the worst, I think. But that's so subjective. I don't want to get into that. How do you define one of? Is it out of 5, 10, 3? What defines the worst? Anyways, but it's been a tough section. With the terrain, the elevation change, the bad trail, the blowdowns. But this part, there were a few blowdowns, but otherwise it was a pretty nice trail to actually walk on for the last like 5 miles, I mean, coming up here. So, or 4 miles, because I still got a mile to go to get to the water source. But, so yeah, that was good. I was definitely, after yesterday, picturing far worse. Oh, just passed an older fellow a little bit ago, probably in his 70s, I guess, maybe. He looks familiar, but I don't think I've met him yet. But I thanked him for clearing out the spider webs this morning. He said they weren't too bad, but no problem, but it's too bad he can't clear out the smoke. It's pretty bad. And like kind of as he said that, I noticed, I could kind of feel it in the back of my throat, and I felt it burning my eyes a little bit. It's really not too bad. Nothing worse than what I went by in the Emigrant Fire, which wasn't too bad either. But asked if he knew where it was coming from. He said no, I don't either. So I just hope it's not a new fire. I don't know what that is. I mean, instinctively, I'd say maybe it's for helping shape a fire. I have never seen that. It's just in the middle of absolutely nowhere. Oh, dang, the smoke sucks. I guess I can't even see the top there. It's a bummer. I bet it'd be so much more beautiful. Well, as my boy Ferris said, life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it. I'm trying to channel that as I keep wanting to stop and eat these blueberries. I think they're blueberries or huckleberries. I also read something about salmon berries. I don't know. Whatever they are, they're in that category and they're delicious. So this is a creek I was planning to get to refill my water. Ended up having about 1/4 of a liter left, which is good. I wanted a safety net. So if I thought I was going to use a liter, I took 1.25 liters. It worked out perfectly. I'm going to try to dry out my tent. I don't know if the sun's being blocked and my sleeping bag being blocked by clouds or smoke. I feel like it's the latter, but it still should help. I think this is 8.9 miles from where I camped. So that's pretty good. I actually don't know what time it is. One sec. Dang, it's already 11 o'clock. What the heck? I thought I was doing good. Man, it started 6:30. It's 11. That's 4.5 hours to do 9 miles. That's terrible. It's a 2 miles an hour pace. What the frick? I mean, it's tough terrain. Again, I think I'm going faster relative to a lot of people I've met out here at this stage. Not like it's a race or it matters. I'm just trying to have a objective sense of how I'm doing. But like, dang, I seriously thought I was doing better. Oh well. All right, I'm gonna take a little break here. Oh, once again, everything's out to dry. Really not enjoying this part of the routine. I'm just grateful the sun's out. Like this, it sucks so much waking up to a wet tent and everything wet inside from condensation, wet on the outside if it's rained in the night or dew. Like I think this morning was more like dew, but it's manageable if it's sunny the next day during the day. You know, it sucks. It's a pain in the ass, but it's manageable. The problem is when it's not sunny or it continues to rain. That, like when my phone went out and I couldn't film it, just awful. So I'm grateful the sun's out so I can at least dry my stuff out and know that I'll have a working shelter and a working sleeping bag for the night. That's Kirby / Tasha, new friend, and I've relinked with 9.
I'm still here.
It is almost 1 p.m. I had a great convo chilling at 9 and hanging out. I've been here for almost 2 hours, so got to get moving and hopefully catch up some miles here. But it was a tough climb to start, but manageable. Smoke's kind of fogging out, but thankfully everything is dried up now. So I will do some hiking with 9 and see where the day goes. Ciao.
So I'm just gonna push to Vista Creek and then wait for the rest of the group. See ya, Kirby.
See ya. So the next 12 miles has 3,900 feet of descent and only 900 feet of ascent. So, although that doesn't necessarily mean faster, but definitely less energy exertion. So that's a good break I'll take at the moment. So 9 has taught me, and when we first met long ago in Chester, he taught me about these thimbleberry, right?
Yep,
Thimbleberry, it's kind of like a raspberry
yep.
sorts. Amazing.
They're super rare to find ripe this time of year, so we're pretty lucky.
That's delicious.
Right?
Thank you.
Absolutely.
So I'm walking with 9 here, and I accidentally jousted this mushroom. I think you saw it happen. Was it already dead?
I have no idea, but I'm calling it Mushroom Killer.
That could be it, man. That's kind of a cool trail name. In the 9th inning here, the 11th hour, I finally get a trail name that I like. All right, there might be something there. But yeah, I've actually tried to avoid doing this because I've seen holes in mushrooms and I just don't obviously want to harm the living things. But what I have tried to do when I'm bored and walking is spear pine cones that are on the ground. And it's really hard to do. Actually to get them on the stick is gonna be really hard, but to even hit them the right way. So this is quite an anomaly, I think, to have. What I'm trying to say is I could have tried to have done this, and I think it would probably take me 30 to 40 times maybe to actually do it. So very exciting. Now what to do with it? Should we eat it?
Oh, just high five.
No, I didn't get on the vlog. I just cut off. But are you good, buddy?
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right. It happens, right? I got after.
yeah.
They got the recovery, not the fall. I'm sorry, man.
No,
I just hung up live. Just another day at the PCT, climbing under a giant-ass tree.
This thing lived for hundreds of years. Now it's dead.
Just to fall here.
In our way. R.I.P.
Everyone, this is Rambler. He's 66 years old. And he has hiked all the way from Mexico without skipping anything but the 3 fire closures. Same kind of principles I've been doing. And that is just...
True to the trail.
True to the trail. It's just amazing. I'm struggling so much at age 35. It's so inspiring.
Ramble on.
Ramble on. All right. Got to get Tarzan in action here. Just hops over these things like it's nothing. Meanwhile, I'm taking my good old sweet time. The trees in front of you and then this big one here. Oh, wait, wrong. All right, we're live.
Okay, hi. So I'm 9, here with a trail named Silver Fox, and I'd like to show you Lyle, the trail's largest mushroom.
Oh, it's got a name already.
Look at that thing. This is a shelf fungus, meaning it grows on the side of trees, and I don't know anything else about it.
But it's massive, and you tapped it lightly, and it sounded kind of like wood, right?
Yeah, it's solid.
Yeah.
It's not squishy at all.
That's wild. Good work, man. Great vlogger. All right, it is 5 o'clock. Just finished my lunch break, which is a second day in a row of taking a super late lunch, but kind of got in the flow hiking with my friend Nine. Really nice to see him again. And we missed our initial spot and then just kind of kept pushing till we found a really nice spot in the woods here to break for. So sunset's in 2 hours, less than. I'm gonna at least go 5 more miles to get to the tent site that Nine is planning to camp at. A few other people. I might push a little more, we'll see. There's a lot of factors going on right now. So Stehekin, the town with my next and last resupply box, is 33 miles away from where I am now. So because of how these miles have been going in days, I'm probably gonna have to have a like another full day tomorrow, and then the change, or the delta, or what's left I should say, the following day, which is a day, like a half a day longer than initially planned, but I kind of addressed that yesterday. So there's that. There's also the fact that there's rain forecasted to start tomorrow sometime early afternoon, which sucks. I am definitely made for the hot and the heat. I was the one in the desert where I was hiking during the peak heat when most were taking siestas, and my body just can handle that a lot better. Whereas the cold and the rain, just absolutely miserable, which is, everyone is miserable in it, but like I will take the heat all day over that. So I literally have like almost like torture PTSD from like what went on 2 weeks ago, and talking to everyone else, everyone's in the same boat. That guy Rambler that I met, just what a legend. We talked to him for a while. Nine was asking some great questions, and I was really happy to the three of us are in the convo. We walked together for like half a mile maybe. Also, I think all the blowdowns are finally done. There was a ton I didn't film. I don't know, I think that was probably top 3 worst sections of blowdowns this whole trail. But it wasn't that. It's manageable, right? It's just I don't like it because it's more dangerous, like in terms of you can get injured. But anyways, Rambler, he'd been reading comments and knows this section here is now clear to blowdowns, I think. So I think I'm in the clear with all that at the moment. But he had done, this is the 66-year-old that we had on film just a little bit ago, 16 marathons. He holds 13 FKTs on trails and peaks, fastest known time. And he's done a bunch of ultra marathons, including one through Alaska was the last one he did at age 62 and took 5th place or something. Just total badass. And he asked us about the rain, not just tomorrow, but what I'm also more worried about, which he is too, is he was seeing the same thing I was seeing, is rain projected like all next week. So tomorrow's Monday, there's supposed to be some rain, but then it's showing Wednesday through Sunday, October 1st through the 4th, of all rain. So I'll get a better feel when I get to Stehekin. What I'm getting at is basically tomorrow afternoon, I'm gonna have a full day tomorrow. Like I can't get into town yet, most likely, unless I were to hike through the night tonight. So I'm gonna have to hunker down tomorrow night on trail. It could get gross with the rain, we'll see. Hopefully it's not too bad. But then what's more concerning is what's following, which I actually mentioned as I first left Leavenworth. And I might talk to my brother on the phone, and he reminded me to check the weather, which usually I do, and I just whatever, so I looked. That's what I was seeing. And so that could be a problem. And this is why every day counts. This is why they use October 1st as a proxy. Like, this could be really bad. Like, even the legend I was talking to who's done all these marathons and FKTs and everything, he's like, no way you're doing four days in a row of rain. I can't do that. Like, I agree. Like, it's like dangerous, the hypothermia, if you can't dry your stuff out in the sun the next day. So I'm going to take it a day at a time. I'm not going to worry too much. I'm just going to work with what I can control. But it could be a pretty nasty finish here. And so it's like either you wait out this crazy storm that's probably coming and hope that there's a window that you can go do the final 80 miles or whatever it'll be, plus 30 more back. So we'll be 120 miles of actually hiking, but 80 PCT to get to the border. Or you try to go through and power through it somehow. But like, I can't even imagine how miserable that would be too. Like, what an awful way to end this experience, to like get to and this is obviously very hypothetical, but get to the terminus and it's raining. Like, I couldn't even take videos when the last bad storm, and hit 2 weeks ago. So there's a lot to think about. I'm gonna flip the camera here. It's beautiful with the moss. There's a lot to kind of factor in and think about as this unfolds in real time. But again, I'm gonna take it a day at a time. When I get to Stehekin, hopefully get a better weather report and then make some decisions. But I'm feeling a little beat up too. Like overall pretty good, but like definitely like not walking fully normal. Like my left leg with everything going on is like a minor limp. But I'm okay. Like my stress fracture feeling has definitely been acting up today as we were going through all these blowdowns. I really think that's what it is. Like it's not fully healed, but it's mostly better. And then having to like with the pack weight and do all these acrobatic moves and stuff through all those blowdowns, like hits it at a certain angle and it's kind of either aggravating it or re-injuring it or whatever. So like left foot ankle down is not doing good. And it's okay. I think I'll be all right, but as long as it doesn't get worse, I can handle it, manageable. But like I said earlier, there's a lot of all those things are just coming up for me again, but they're all like manageable at the moment. So in classic fashion, very dramatic potential ending here. We'll see how it all goes down. But I'd rather have to sit in a sauna for 2 hours straight than go through this like being wet in a wet gear and wet tents and the weather's in the 30s but not yet freezing, like awful. So we'll see. But anyways, thanks for listening. There's a lot to catch up on because I wasn't filming too much since I was talking and having a good conversation with my friend that I hadn't seen in a while. But I will catch y'all down trail in a bit. Try to get these last 5 miles in, maybe a little more. I mean, it's all speculative, right? Because we don't know what situations we're going to face in a few days and everything. But the marathon runner Rambler was literally, because he lives in Oregon, was talking about maybe going home literally for like a week and let the storm pass and then come back and finish. Like I saw it on the weather and I've been kind of tracking it, but like it wasn't worth worrying about. But the fact that other people are like, because it was so far away, but the fact that other people are kind of starting to talk about it now and even have that drastic of a reaction from a guy who's clearly about as badass as they come, especially at that age. Like, we'll see. I don't know what the mood's going to be here. The reason I'm talking about this now is it all kind of trickles back down to like, part of me is 33 miles to Stehekin was just running the math now, how long it would take me if I just powered through there now. But again, the rain tomorrow is kind of, I think, separate. It's showing rain for like 6 hours tomorrow, starting in the early afternoon. But who knows? Again, this is Garmin, which gives me 2-hour weather forecasts. It's been ballpark accurate before, but not super accurate at times. But that shows that happening tomorrow, Monday, and then a big thing from Wednesday through Sunday, like October 1st through the 5th. So if I hiked through the night, that would be me avoiding whatever storm hits tomorrow. But even that, like the bigger concern is like that 5-day stretch that is showing rain. But I'm really averse to camping with wet gear and all that again. So again, I've had many nights now at this point where I'm waking up and it rained a little in the night, or there's condensation in my tent. It's not necessarily what I'm talking about. I'm talking about having to hike in the rain where your shoes are soaked, your socks are soaked, your rain jacket wets out, your tent's wet from the night before, you set up, it's very cold through the night and the next day, and everything's still damp or drenched by the time you wake up, and having to put that on and hike again. That is the situation I want to avoid. Now, if that happened to me tomorrow and I hike normal, well then the next morning, Tuesday, I'd probably have X number of miles left, maybe 8 or something, and then I would go into Stehekin and I could kind of dry out there. So that's not the worst, but I would like to avoid that if I could. And that's why I'm contemplating right now what this would look like if I were to hike through the night, or what to avoid that. Probably won't, because it's just, I'm more about taking things head on, and as much as it would suck, I don't think hypothermia is a big risk with the tomorrow situation because I'm only 33 miles from a town. But it's the latter storm that I'm actually factoring in too. So stay tuned. So I got up early, and again, spider webs in my face. It was like a little over 2 mile an hour pace for what I did this morning, which I didn't think was that great. But in talking to Nine, he's like, dude, for that terrain, that's really solid. So again, I think relatively it's good. It just feels slow because of what I had been doing for a while with different obstacles and terrain. But I ended up taking a 2-hour break earlier when I was drying my gear out because I hadn't seen my friend Dylan or Nine in a while, and it was just good combo and whatever. But I couldn't believe when I looked at the time. I was like, oh my gosh, almost 2 hours there. And then I had to take my hour lunch break now just to eat and rest my feet after walking for so long straight. So I took too many breaks today is what I'm saying. 3 hours of breaks is just, plus like short little breaks, I guess. Pee breaks and stuff is just too much. But because of the math and how things are working out, tomorrow's probably going to be a full day out here anyways. So it's just a function of, do I want to hike 7 miles or 12 miles or somewhere in that range going into Stehekin 2 days from now. So it's doable, but I feel like I should be putting up better numbers than if I go to finish these 5 miles I started since the late lunch. It would be just like 22 miles on the day basically. And that's just, I don't know, but there's a ton of blowdowns that it slows you down to get around and everything. So all in all, that's still a pretty solid day. But because I got up and moving so early and was making decent time, I just got a little too comfortable and took too long of breaks. You really see walking next to one of these how massive they are. Like, it's up to my head in height. It's just crazy. Yeah, there's been so many blowdowns today. I don't know how, I guess you go over and around. It's a shame though, it's got my stress fracture thing not feeling great from having to step and push up the weights in all the ways I've had to. Wow, it's crazy big. Okay, these are the trees I just went under, but back to nature art. Does that not look like an elephant? See like the tusks and the nose and the ears and everything? So the Seattle River, I don't know if I'm saying that right. It's spelled S-U-I-A-T-T-L-E. I presume it's related to the city of Seattle, just maybe pronunciation or spelling of where it came from, but that's a real thing, real river here. I still got a few more miles to push, but it's cool. Sunset is in about 10 minutes. It was pretty dark for a while there, but then I came out into this opening. Probably got about half a mile to go. I think I'm just gonna camp there for a few reasons. One, I looked at the terrain beyond that. There's like I literally think I was just under 4,000 foot climb to follow. It goes from a little over 2,000 to around 6,000, and not many places to camp and stuff. And that's just nothing I want to even start to tackle today. Two, I'd rather get acknowledging I took too long of a break today. It was a decent day, putting aside the fact that I took a 2-hour breakfast break and an hour late lunch break. But I made decent pace overall, but there's a lot of blowdowns and just sketchy terrain, and I'm beat up. This is probably the worst my body's felt since Ashland. Like, my stress fracture pain is flirting with me again. Like, my left hip is now been hurting a bit. Like, I won't even go down the litany. It's like everything I've experienced on trail all at once. I'm kind of powering through it, but I'm very worried because there's so many things that are kind of afflicting me at the moment. If something were to get beyond that 2 or 3 out of 10 on the pain scale, needless to say, it is very uncomfortable walking regardless. But so I think it's very prudent that I don't push. I considered hiking through the night regarding timing of these next 2 anticipated storms and everything, but I'm just gonna get some normal rest and wake up and take the day tomorrow as it comes. I could keep pushing, but my friend Nine or Dylan said he was planning to try to make it still to his campsite. I'm ahead of him right now. He's waiting on someone. So there's a place about a mile from here that I'd probably go if I was solo, but because he was planning to go this other site, I'm gonna try just see if he ends up coming. But I went to grab water 0.3 miles before where I was gonna camp, and I saw the leaves very fall. Look at that. It just kind of took me for a moment, because I haven't, like, I pointed out some other leaves, but not like this, not like big, kind of like maple leaves or whatever they are. Definitely a moment. Summer is very much officially behind us, and in all unofficial ways too. All indications say fall. And man, I'm worried about this weather, but one day at a time. Well, I don't love it, but this is the site. So this is gonna be home for night. It's not by water. That's okay. I'm gonna try to set up before it gets fully dark. So I'm setting up my tent, but I forgot this morning. I didn't say it because there's somebody else in the area I camped in. I didn't want to be loud talking, and I forgot. Once again, one of my tent stakes got stuck in the ground, but I was very pleased. It's happened so many times now. I've actually finally figured out the best process, and I had it fixed and removed within 2 minutes. So I dug a little bit out to get underneath this tip. Then I went and cut some of my extra guy line that I have for my tent. I then took a lighter and seared the ends so they'd kind of toughen up and harden. I then slipped the guy line through the hole, put it in a basic double knot or whatever you call that, and then took another one of my shepherd's hook tent stakes and stuck it through the hole, and then pulled on both sides, like when it goes through like this, to lever it out. So I was pretty proud of myself. Still frustrating, but also a little rewarding, because I finally found a system that makes sense and works to fix this stuff. I seriously hate that the storm's coming, or projected to, like all next week. It's kind of ruining a lot. I mean, there's no need to worry too much, but till it's like here, but it's kind of like around the corner. Otherwise, I'd be feeling, I'm really sore right now. Like, I'm worried about my stress fracture, or what was a stress fracture that apparently never fully healed the most right now over anything. But I'm pretty beat up in a lot of ways. But like, I think I could not easily, but no matter what, push these last 110 miles I've left, plus 30 to get back. So it's still like a lot. But I mean, I would be feeling pretty darn good right now if it wasn't for this big storm that's supposed to come. So I don't know. I'm gonna try to get up early, get some miles in before the rain hits tomorrow. Again, the one I'm seeing is tomorrow is separate from this big storm that's supposed to come Wednesday through Sunday. So, and I'm just going off of my Garmin and what I saw when I left Leavenworth. So I'll get an update in Stehekin, which will probably be Tuesday early afternoon or something when I get in, or late morning. All right. I'm not sure my friend's gonna make it. I had that feeling. We'll see. Maybe still surprise me, but it is what it is. If I was solo, I 100% would not be camping here. I don't like this site at all. It's just kind of weird in the woods and not by water and whatever. But hopefully it shows up. No big deal if not. It's in the end of day 147. I will see you all tomorrow. I want to reiterate that I am in the middle of nowhere, but a lot of the sites, even on the PCT in very remote areas, have these toilets, but this one is like brand new. Look at this. They built this wall so you can't see from the trail on the campsite, and it's like made out of new, someone wrote cedar, I don't know, but there's a big pit under it, right? I think people call them privies or something, but yeah, this is pretty cool. I don't need to use it just yet, but just exploring the area like I like to do. Get the lay of the land, as my dad would say.